there's something also about the prophetic in that if you're given a free hand, it does something to you internally as you minister. If you're going into a school in, let's say, Cambridge, and you're aware of such narrow parameters, and you have to water things down, and you probably have to talk about being a good person rather than directly talking about salvation. You might be able to get a verse in, but you have to sort of bring it obliquely. You probably shouldn't pray at the end, or if you do, you have to be very careful how you do it. You have to present it as I'm praying. You don't have to. So different to go into a Kenyan school, and you might have, if you ask for people to put their hands up that they want to commit their lives to the Lord, you'll get maybe 80%, 90% put their hands up. They all want you to pray for them.
Yep.
So different. And it pulls something out of you that maybe you didn't even know was there, because you're so used to having to fight to sort of present anything in a secular context.
Dan,
Yes.
we've been chatting about the recent TFM trip to Kenya,
Yes.
Hope Mission 2025.
Yes.
And I'd love to just hear a little bit more about how we managed to weave the gospel into the various activities that we were involved in.
Absolutely. So I'd like to make the point that the title, Hope Mission 2025, was actually more significant than I thought. Previously, we've called it Glory Mission. Two previous outings there, and I felt that that maybe changing it to Hope would play better in England. People would understand a bit more. But actually, it's more significant than I realised, in that Kenya has lots of political struggles at the moment. The young people are feeling very disenfranchised. They're feeling like the world doesn't hold much hope, that there's not much upward mobility, there's not much chance to escape poverty. And so we were injecting, I like to think, we were injecting the gospel of hope wherever we went, that yes, those things might be true, and we don't have necessarily all the solutions to that, but we do know somebody who does. We do know Jesus, and he's the God of all hope. And that with integrity, we could present a gospel that offers hope. And again, not that we could promise exactly how that plays out, but you put your hand into Jesus' hand, you trust your life to him, and he will look after you.
Yeah.
It might not be quite how you think, but he does have plans to bless you and to prosper you. That verse came out quite a lot from Jeremiah 29, I think it is, 29:11. That he has plans to bless you and to prosper you, not to harm you. That was something that we really lent into wherever we went. And so lots of schools. I think we went to 12, 13 schools, possibly 3,000 to 4,000 children, or young adults as well, that we were able to sort of bring that clarion call of the gospel. And not in a hyped way. I hope that there was balance there as well. It's not that we're bringing a prosperity gospel or a sort of quick fix, but actually with integrity we could say, Jesus does really love you despite the circumstances in your country. And we were able to back that up with some compassion ministry as well, some gifts. I know you brought some footballs, some football kit. It's amazing the joy those footballs brought, perhaps more than everything else. But just such a privilege to actually carry the gospel. And it really works. I mean, it sounds a bit sort of facile to say it, but the gospel really works. We've proved it in our own lives. And so without any fear, we can present it into another culture. Again, not knowing exactly how it works its way through, but it will.
Speaking of culture, what's the difference between going into a school in the UK as a Christian to give a message and going into a school in Kenya? How did the two compare?
Oh, absolute polar opposites. So the Kenyan culture is so Christianized. The school might even have a Christian name, or certainly allusions to Christianity, even as you're driving in. There might be a verse painted on the wall. There'll be, certainly allusions to Christianity. The head teacher will greet you warmly. He may well be a Christian. I don't know whether that's like a really a Christian or a nominal Christian. I think there probably is a lot of nominal Christianity, but nonetheless, you're welcomed in as Christians, and you're given a free hand to preach the gospel. Just incredible, for an evangelist. It's heaven on a plate. There's not really any restrictions. I dare say if we abused that and we went too far in a particular direction, there'd be a gentle nudge. But as far as I know, they were happy with what we brought. And there's something also about the prophetic in that if you're given a free hand, it does something to you internally as you minister. If you're going into a school in, let's say, Cambridge, and you're aware of such narrow parameters, and you have to water things down, and you probably have to talk about being a good person rather than directly talking about salvation. You might be able to get a verse in, but you have to sort of bring it obliquely. You probably shouldn't pray at the end, or if you do, you have to be very careful how you do it. You have to present it as, I'm praying, you don't have to. So different to go into a Kenyan school, and you might have, if you ask for people to put their hands up that they want to commit their lives to the Lord, you'll get maybe 80%, 90% put their hands up. They all want you to pray for them.
Yep.
So different. And it pulls something out of you that maybe you didn't even know was there, because you're so used to having to fight to sort of present anything in a secular context. That it's phenomenal. And watching the team as well sort of rise to the challenge and bring their puppets and bring their testimonies and bring their and just a joy to watch that happen, and the freedom of it, and the warmth that, again, in the West, possibly if you go to a nice school, one or two kids might thank you on the way out or smile at you, but we're talking in Kenya about high fives, shake hands. Just this incredible friendship that's there immediately. You don't have to sort of fight for it. I'd go as far as to say it's even healing. When you've been in a much cooler temperature, shall we say, spiritually, to go to that, it restores your belief in friendship, your belief that the gospel really does work.
Absolutely.
And it really does work across cultures. That it's God's designed it so perfectly that it just wonderfully crosses cultural divides.
And the team who went to Kenya from the UK included some younger people, some people who hadn't been to Africa before. What kind of opportunities for newcomers to overseas mission have there been, and possibly what could there be in the future?
Yeah, absolutely wonderful opportunities to talk to hundreds of children, to minister in churches, to just to spread their wings and fly with not really any parameters around it. Again, if we were going crazy, I think eventually there would be a little nudge, but to be given that level of freedom. And also that undoing the sort of dare I say professional class of Christianity, where you go away to Bible college and you train, and you go away and you do your theological training, and in 10 years come back and we might let you lead worship on a Sunday. Come back then, and we might discuss whether you could do something. No, there's none of that. It's kind of straight into harness, and everyone is able to minister, and opportunities that you would just not get in this country. Like Sam, your friend, well, our friend too, just being given incredible opportunities to speak to his peers in schools and colleges. So I think probably the team, I'd like to think they've sort of grown 6 months worth in 10 days because of just the sheer opportunity and the freedom to do that. But in terms of the future, I think hopefully we build every time we go, the relationship is stronger, we're more known, there's more opportunity. Even this time we split into 2 teams at times to meet 2 opportunities. If we had a bigger team, who knows, maybe there's 3 teams or even 4 teams that are splitting up. And the way, when you do it that way, everyone gets a turn, because it's not 10 people sat there waiting for a go, it's 3 or 4 people. So lots of opportunities, I think, for the future.
You mentioned Sam, who was the youngest member, 19, I believe. He did an amazing job. At the other end of the spectrum, we had another team member who was a little bit older. Can you tell us about her?
Yeah, Celia. Wonderful to have Celia with us. Just an absolute example to us all of just keeping going and keeping a really good attitude through all the challenges. There were challenges. There were moments where we didn't quite know what was happening, and she rose to that wonderfully. And humorously, they struggled with her name, Celia, so she was called Senior. And they just loved her because there's so much respect for age in Kenya, and so she was Mama Senior. It was just lovely to see that happening. But the team dynamic was so lovely because we had such a spread of almost 3 generations, or the young and the old, and then everything in between. It was really lovely to see that, and how well, for instance, Sam and Celia were relating, and across the team, those relationships really, real bonding, real kingdom bonding happening.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I noticed quite a lot of bonding, as you put it, between the visiting team and the local team. Made up of again, young people as well as older adults with various kinds of responsibilities. Talk about the fellowship that we had with the local.
Really, really lovely warmth between the groups. At one stage, we were travelling with 3 teams: the TFM team, the Nairobi team, and the Baringo team. Just lovely warmth between us all, and you'd see people in the morning, and there'd always be a hug, and how are you? Did you sleep? Is your stomach okay? Did you get any mosquito bites? That kind of thing. Lovely camaraderie. I'd say in this country, when we do missions, there's wonderful friendships that form quickly because you're working so closely together. But I'd say on this trip to Kenya, almost that went to another level because you've got the cross-cultural aspect. I think really strong friendships form in that setting. And I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but I only see that developing, and possibly some of the team will come back again. Maybe not everyone can, but there'll be people who are more established to help those that are coming for the first time to find their way again.
Sounds like there's a future in TFM Overseas Mission.
Yes, I'd almost say that Deliverance Church in Nairobi and Pastor James and Pastor Margaret are unofficially TFM in Kenya. There are Link Church there. I hope they'd feel the same.
Great.
Yeah.
Dan, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.